The sharp, metallic clack-clack of steel skates over uneven pavement slabs. The distant shout of "out of the way, mate," as a wooden crate hurtles downhill with absolutely no brakes, and that sharp, sour smell of vinegar soaking in a jam jar on the kitchen windowsill. If you grew up in 1960s Britain like I did, our childhood was not something our parents bought us from a fancy shop catalogue. No, it was built out of stolen pram wheels, skinned elbows, and pure unfiltered freedom, until the streetlights hummed to life. Today, I am taking you back to the golden era of 1960s street play, including those lethal homemade hill races you and I both risked our necks on, and that secret conker trick that drove our poor mums completely round the bend. So grab a cup of tea and let us see how many of these take you straight back to when the whole road was our playground. Let us start with what I reckon was the ultimate sign of street status back then, the homemade go-kart. Or as you might have called it, a bogie, a cart, a trolley, or a soapbox. Long before anyone dreamed of plastic electric ride-ons, you and I had to become master mechanical engineers by the age of 10. Our hunting ground was the local rubbish tip or a vacant bomb site, looking for the holy grail of street construction, an abandoned Silver Cross pram. We would strip those wheels off using rusty spanners, saving the big rear wheels for the back axle and the little front ones for steering. The chassis was whatever bits of wood we could quietly pinch from a nearby building site or pull off an old apple crate from the greengrocer. A single rusty iron bolt held the front steering beam together, tied with a piece of frayed clothesline rope. Brakes? Don't make me laugh. Brakes were completely optional. Stopping meant either grinding the soles of your good leather school shoes against the tarmac until you smelt burning rubber, or steering straight into Mrs. Higgins' prize hedge at the bottom of the hill while your mates roared with laughter. When the wooden axle inevitably snapped mid-race, you did not cry. You just picked the gravel out of your bloody knees, pushed the wreckage back up the hill, and swore you would build it faster next time. But while we lads were busy tearing our best trousers on steering ropes down the steepest hill in town, I bet you remember how the girls completely took over the smooth pavement slabs with nothing more than a stub of nicked school chalk. If you walked down my street on a bright afternoon in 1964, the flagstones looked like a colourful work of art, covered in white, pink, and blue lines. Hopscotch was absolute serious business. Armed with a piece of chalk we quietly pocketed from the classroom blackboard or a soft piece of red brick, the girls drew grids from 1 to 10 straight onto the pavement. The marker was the most important thing you owned. It had to be heavy enough not to bounce off the line an old shoe-polished tin filled with damp sand, a flat pebble from the garden, or a heavy brass coat button. You tossed your marker into square one, hopped on one leg through the grid, turned around at the top, and scooped it up on the way back without touching a single chalk line. If your heels so much as grazed a white line, the crowd of girls watching would jump on you like a referee at a football match. Yet right next to those chalk squares, another incredible game was happening using a wooden top that I still do not know how we managed to keep spinning. Whip and top was proper ancient magic, and it took a level of skill I think kids today would struggle to fathom. You had these heavy wooden tops, shaped like upside-down acorns, and we used to paint swirling chalk patterns on the flat top. You took a leather strap attached to a wooden stick, wrapped it tight around the base of the top, set it on the flagstone, and gave it a sharp, pulling flick. Once it was spinning on its little iron point, you had to whip the living daylights out of it to keep it dancing along the road. The chalked patterns blurred into amazing spinning rainbows. The real hilarity happened when you missed a whip and accidentally lashed your mate on the shins, or sent the wooden top flying straight under the wheels of an oncoming coal lorry. As mesmerizing as those spinning tops were, I know you can still hear that deafening roaring racket that meant someone was coming down the street on two metal plates strapped to their feet. Before smooth inline skates or padded boots were even thought of, you and I mastered the art of the clamp on metal roller skate. These heavy, noisy beasts were solid silver steel with red or blue leather ankle straps, and the ultimate accessory was that small T-shaped metal skate key we wore round our necks on a dirty piece of string like a prized necklace. You placed the steel frame against the soles of your sturdy school shoes, slotted the key into the front, and cranked those metal clamps tight against the leather soles until your fingers went numb. The wheels were solid steel ball bearings, and when you skated down the pavement, it sounded like a thunderous freight train rolling through the neighbourhood. Every crack in the concrete sent a shockwave straight up your spine. And let us be honest, we all remember the sheer terror when a front clamp slipped loose at full speed. You would instantly do a superhero dive face first onto the hard floor, while your skate went rolling merrily down into the drain. Yet as much as those roaring metal wheels defined our summer holidays, when autumn rolled around and the leaves turned golden, a completely different, high-stakes tournament began on every street corner. The start of September meant conker season, and every kid turned into a tactical military genius searching for the ultimate weapon. Walking home from school meant long detours through the local park or churchyard, throwing heavy sticks up into horse chestnut trees to knock down those prickly green pods. But finding a monster conker was only half the job. The real madness was how you and I prepared them for battle. We all had our secret, completely unscientific recipes to make our conker indestructible. I bet you soaked yours in a jam jar of malt vinegar for a week, or secretly baked it in Mum's oven when she ran out to the corner shop until she came home, smelt the burnt vinegar, and gave you what for. You bored a hole through the middle with a rusty nail, threaded a knotted bootlace through, and went to war, swinging your conker with all your might against your mates, shouting traditional battle cries, watching the shell crack, and claiming his conker's victories to turn yours into a grand 50 was pure childhood glory. Long after those conker battles finished and twilight began to settle over the chimneys, the real street mischief started, including the one prank that was guaranteed to send a grumpy neighbour flying out of their front door. As dusk fell and the streetlights flickered, we turned our attention to the adrenaline-pumping world of street pranks. Whether you called it knockdown ginger, cherry knocking, or mischief night, the rules were simple: hit the target and run for your life. You would creep up the garden path of the grumpiest bloke on the road, press his loud electric doorbell, and sprint into the darkness before he could open the door. But the absolute king of pranks was tying a long piece of black thread between the door handles of two terraced houses directly across a narrow alley from each other. You would knock on both doors at once and hide behind a coal bunker, holding your breath to keep from laughing out loud. Both neighbours would yank their doors open at the exact same time, pulling against each other's handles across the dark alleyway, shouting, "Stop pulling, Arthur," while we crouched in the shadows, practically bursting a blood vessel trying not to giggle. Mind you, if you wanted to stay out of trouble with the local bobby who was walking his beat, you shifted your attention to the quiet gutter games that cost nothing more than a pocket full of shiny glass. While the pranksters were hiding in the alleyways, you could always find a group of us down on our knees in the dusty gutter, playing marbles, or as we called them, alleys. We carried our collection in drawstring bags that our mums had sewn out of old curtain scraps, filled with colourful glass swirls, cat's eyes, and those prized heavy steel ball bearings we pinched from garage machinery, known as steelies or iron men. Our knees were permanently stained with street dirt that no amount of soap could scrub off. You drew a circle in the dust with a stick, placed your marble between thumb and forefinger, and flicked it with a sharp snap, aiming to knock your rival's alley right out of the ring. When we played for keepsies, the tension was unbelievable. Losing your favourite glass alley with the golden swirl inside could ruin your entire week, but winning a fistful of fresh steelies made you feel like the richest kid in town. While we were losing our best steelies in the dirt, the brick walls of the local factory were echoing with a hypnotic thud 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 that I bet every girl reading this can still sing along to. Wall games and skipping were proper street art forms that required amazing rhythm and stamina. You would see girls standing against a smooth factory brick wall, keeping 2 rubber tennis balls bouncing in a hypnotic pattern under their legs and behind their backs, all while chanting classic rhymes like 9 o'clock is striking, Mother may I go out. Right next to them, French skipping was in full swing. Forget ordinary ropes, French skipping used a giant loop of white knicker elastic stretched around the ankles of 2 girls standing back to back. A third girl would jump in and out of the loop, doing crazy twists and hops without catching her toes. As the game went on, they raised the elastic higher and higher, from ankles to calves to knees, and right up to the waist. Watching someone clear waist-high elastic without falling flat on her face was proper Olympic talent in my eyes. As the shadows against those brick walls grew long and our legs started aching, there was one final, unwritten law of the 1960s that brought every single game to an instant halt. No matter how close you were to winning that marble tournament, no matter how fast your wooden cart was rolling, and no matter how high that skipping elastic was raised, everything stopped dead the second the orange glow of the streetlights hummed to life. Back then, our mums and dads did not have mobile phones, tracking apps, or smartwatches to check where we were. They did not need them. The golden rule of every British home was simple. When the streetlights turn on, you get your boots back inside. Within 2 minutes of those lamps lighting up the road, front doors all down the terrace would swing open. You would hear mothers in floral aprons leaning out and shouting names into the twilight air. David, tea is on the table. Or Susan, come inside and wash your filthy hands. You dusted the chalk off your knees, pocketed your skate key, stashed your prized conker, and ran down the street toward the smell of hot toast, soup, or fish paste sandwiches. We came home exhausted, filthy, with scraped shins and freezing fingers, but with hearts full of pure, unadulterated happiness that came from a day of complete freedom. Looking back, those simple street games taught us how to make something out of nothing, how to settle our own arguments, and how to dust ourselves off when we fell. What was your absolute favourite street game when you grew up in the 1960s? Did you build a lethal go-kart, master the clamp-on metal skates, or get caught baking conkers in your mum's oven? Drop your brilliant memories in the comments below, and do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Yesterday UK for more trips back down memory lane.